Hi there. I am here with Jacky Mitchell of Realty Mark Associates. She is also the president of the group I belong to, which is your Senior Advantage team. And today we're going to talk about something that we really don't want to talk about, but we will, downsizing. So Jacky, what's the most important reason for downsizing and decluttering, and how do you start?
Well, the most important thing about downsizing and decluttering is the person.
Ooh.
Most people put things above the person, and you can't do that. But that's how you end up with all those things. I find that the way to start is just go start. Take a 3-foot area around. I don't care if it's your bed in your bedroom, your favorite chair in the living room or the family room or the sofa, but make that clutter free. Make that your no clutter zone, and that's your own personal thing. The only thing you leave there is maybe something that you're going to use, you know, the remote for the television, that kind of thing.
Right.
But that's how you do it, and that's how you start. You just start.
So take, I guess, like a small section. Like for me, this would be very overwhelming because I tend to be, I don't think of myself as a clutter person because everything's out of sight, but oh gosh, if you open that drawer. So maybe take one drawer or one area, then you're saying, and get that cleaned out and then no more.
What you do is you say, okay, today I'm going to declutter my living room. So you do that 3 feet section around your favorite chair. You make sure the aisles where you walk are clutter-free, and the hallways too, because that's a fire hazard and a tripping hazard, and you can't have that.
Right.
That's the areas that you start in first. But then I start, and I'm downsizing right now and decluttering, I start in a corner of the same room, and I just go all the way around the room. And I look at every piece of furniture, every tabletop, and I even go into the closet, because if you don't clean out the closet, just like you said, everything's in the closet.
Right.
If you don't do that, and there are people who've lived in their home for 35 years, they need to go in those closets. They don't do it. They don't know what they have in the attic or the basement.
Because we haven't seen it in so long.
That's exactly right.
But it's there.
That's exactly
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how, obviously, it's important to do it. Why is it important?
It's important to do it for a couple of reasons, because it gives you space that you didn't know you had. It gives you a way to get rid of things that you don't need. The rule of thumb about downsizing or decluttering is, and I don't agree with this, but this is the rule. If you haven't used something for 6 months, get rid of it. My rule is, if I haven't used something for 3 months, I'm going to get rid of it.
You're much more aggressive.
Absolutely. And I go through the house and I pick up 5 objects every day. And if it's got dust on it and I didn't use it, it's gone.
That's
okay?
a really good tip, because you can start off small. It's not overwhelming. Like I'm just thinking in my life, if I went into like my bedroom, oh God, like I become overwhelmed just thinking of the task. So if I take small sections, like you said, 3 feet, that's doable. You don't become overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Get it done and then walk away and then come back again another day.
That's right. I have a friend who has another way of doing it. I think hers is really interesting. She's a tea drinker. So she goes in, she puts the kettle on to make, you know, to boil water for the tea.
Right.
So she can steep her tea. And while that's coming to a boil, she's straightening up the kitchen. She's taking all the stuff off the countertop, making sure it goes in the dishwasher, washing it if she has to, taking the salt and pepper and putting them back in the
Where they belong.
cabinet where they belong. Absolutely. And if she finishes the kitchen before the tea water boils, she goes into the dining room. So she has a
system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you just do 5 minutes at a time, by the way.
See, I could do that.
And then you go to 10, and then you go to 15.
No, that's pushing it. No.
Well, once you get that 3 feet, then
Yeah.
it gets exciting, because then you can.
I think you feel a sense of accomplishment.
You do,
Because
absolutely.
I get overwhelmed, so what happens is I don't do it. Where if I could see something instantaneously, I think I would be a little bit more motivated.
Yeah, you do the 5-minute start. That's where you do it.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Okay, how do I know what to keep? And how do I know, like, how do I deal with my mementos? And not just maybe my mementos, but my husband's. You know, we have a lot of things from his family, a lot of things from my family.
Right.
I feel that I shouldn't get rid of them, or I shouldn't remove them, but yet they're really not my style. Like, how do you deal with that?
Okay. First of all, I want to back up just a little bit. I want people to get their most important paperwork together in one place.
Paperwork meaning?
I want it to go into a cabinet or a filing box even that they can take with them. I'm talking about the Social Security card. Oh. I'm talking about the insurance card, the AARP insurance card, the Medicare
Jacky?
Card, the license, your driver's license, even your
title
mortgage,
to the car,
absolutely,
anything like
insurance
that.
paperwork, anything. And you need to tell somebody in your family where you put it, because if you can't find it and you're incapacitated for some reason, they can't help you. This way, everything that they need is right there. So that's where you start, first of all.
So get all those documents
things
together. You can make a
in one
nice little
spot.
file box, something
Exactly.
like that. Everyone knows where it's at.
Exactly.
So God forbid if anything is needed, everyone knows one place to go.
Exactly.
So that's the first step, the most
Right.
important step probably.
And then you look at the mementos, and quite frankly, I know all about mementos. I had my mother's house, my father's house, my grandmother's house, my son, okay, and my grandson.
So you
and
have
me.
mementos.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of mementos. I take mementos, and I think that you can take one item from an event or something that you want to remember. If you have a picture with all of the people who were at that event, just think about looking at each one of those people on that picture. You'll remember all the things that happened at that event. You can do a couple of things with it. You can put it in a photo album, or if you're computer savvy, put it into your computer or one of the new discs so that you can look at it whenever you want to. That's the way to do those things. If it's something that's been handed down, like your husband's,
right.
You know, he's got this thing that he got from his grandmother and you don't know what to do with, and you don't know if it's worth anything, the first thing to do is go to an appraiser.
Now, how do you find out? Do you just yellow pages? Like, how do you find?
There is even an appraisers association in the Delaware Valley, and they can refer you to the right appraiser. You tell them what your item is, and they'll refer you to the right appraiser.
Wow.
And so you can have somebody come out and look at all what you think are antiques. They may not be.
Right.
They may be just old. And there's sentimental value. They're not antiques. If they are antiques, you have a couple of choices. You know, you could talk to your husband if it's not your taste about maybe putting it on the market. eBay sells a lot of antiques. You can talk to a variety of people. You can talk to the people in the family and see if somebody else would like to have it. Because that's, I think, what you need to do with something that you don't like. Find out if somebody else wants it.
That's a good choice. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. I mean, everyone has children, grandchildren,
There you
nieces,
go.
nephews. You know,
Yes.
this was so and so's. Okay.
Yeah, so that works. The other thing that you need to look at is clothing. Oh my gosh.
So I'm not fitting back into that size 6 again.
No.
Right. Okay.
You don't wear a business suit to business every
No,
day.
right,
Okay?
right.
And so you say to yourself, what do I do with all this? Well, there are people who've been in a fire and maybe need to have it. There are people who are homeless and need your coat. There are children who need your son's hand-me-downs that you can do. I just recently, because I told you I'm downsizing, I just recently took all of my business suits. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Right.
And suits, I took handbags, I took shoes, boots, you name it, down, and I gave it to an organization who actually help women dress for success. The woman coming back into the marketplace who needs something to put on,
Right.
okay, to go to that first interview so that she can get a new job. And then she needs something for every day for the rest of the work week. So I felt very good because I used them and they were terrific, and now somebody else was
Kind of
gonna have the
paying it
benefit.
forward a little bit.
Absolutely.
And for some of those types of items, can you not get like a tax receipt, like for
There
your
is.
income?
There
Okay.
is. As a matter of fact, they sent me even a list of all the things that I'd given, because I gave so many, I didn't have time. I filled my whole car. And they told me where to go to find out how to find out what they were worth and what you could use for taxes. So that's a good thing. The Salvation Army, I believe, can tell you that.
And in this area, there's Impact, which is right up the street, and some of the other, like church groups, things like that.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you have, what advice would you have for maybe seniors that really don't want to be in their homes? Maybe they want to move into a senior high-rise apartment or an independent community, but yet they have this home. What are some of the roadblocks that I think stop them from moving on?
The very first thing is living there for 35 years, how do I get rid of all this? There are many people, including myself, who come in, and we have a ton of people we can refer to that will help them clean out the house and get it ready to sell. That you can make decisions. We can help them make a floor plan and take it to wherever they're going to go and see what furniture fits in.
I see.
So we can do that. There are people called move advocates who do that. There's a variety of ways to help them make that decision. That's the hardest decision they ever make.
Right.
And they take forever to make that decision. And the children usually want them to do that because they don't want them to live alone.
Right.
And it's tough, it really is. But decluttering and downsizing is the first thing they have to do before they can do it. But there are all kinds of self-help that we can get them as they go along through the process.
And let me ask you this, as far as, since you are a realtor, what are some tips or advice that you give for maybe someone that is a little bit older in selling their home? Like, everyone watches HGTV and those types of, do we really need to redo the kitchen before they come in? Or, granite countertops? Like, what are smart decisions to make for an older adult that wants to sell their home?
I happen to be a home stager. I'm accredited as a home stager. So I do believe, not necessarily in redoing the kitchen, I do believe in framing, the door frame in the front is the window and the soul of the house. It frames your house. It's the first place that a buyer looks. You clean that, you make sure all the windows are clean, and then you come in and you paint everything neutral. You don't want to ever see anything that isn't neutral, because a buyer has to be able to put himself in the house. And if all he sees is the seller, the owner of the house, and their family, not going to happen.
Right.
You have to put all the pictures away. You have to do all of those
You want
things.
them to look their pictures on the wall. They don't want to see your pictures. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you do that and you paint the house, but it has to be absolutely clean and clutter-free. And have your realtor come in and stage it if they do it. I do it, and I do it as a service for people. Quite frankly, I don't charge for it. I just come in and do it for them.
And now, just real quickly, types of realtors. Just wonder, is there a classification or a designation for a realtor that is like maybe older adult senior friendly, and is that important?
There is. It's a national designation, which I happen to have taken the courses, and I hold, and I take all their educational information during the year. I think I started back in 2003 or 2004. And it's called the Senior Real Estate Specialist, and I do hold that designation.
Okay.
And that's my niche market. That's what I do, is I work with seniors and help them downsize and get their home ready to sell. And on the other hand, I help the first-time home buyer get into that house.
So both ends of the spectrum then.
It is, absolutely. And I think but that's what you have to do, is you have to find somebody who specializes and knows how to find all of the resources that you need.
Yeah, because it's very specific, with what you're doing in that market. So this is great advice. I think Realty Mark should be very happy that you're with them and you have these these ideas and these designations. And I know I'm thrilled because you are part of your Senior Advantage team. So I thank you for this, and maybe I will clean my bedroom.
Good luck with that. I know how that feels.
We'll see. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for your Senior Advantage. Lynn Degenhart of Mercy Home Health was our first speaker who talked about home health care. And I, Jacky Mitchell, spoke about downsizing and decluttering, the one thing nobody wants to talk about. We hope that you enjoyed it and that you might like to have us come out and talk to your organization, because that's what your Senior Advantage team does. We speak about senior issues. You can reach us at jacky.mitch@ymail.com. Thanks again for coming.